Oh, come on. This is the quicksand we were warned about.
So the ferry would have been down here.
Yeah.
Let's go see that.
I'm Robert, and this is Adventures into History. We are back in the ghost town community that was New Hope. As we had some mysteries that we discovered out here on a previous scouting mission into New Hope, and we have some answers for some of the ruins that I found. I'm joined by Mrs. Linda McCardle. Also joining us today is Mr. Dan Aiken. His son Briley is with us, and Mrs. Linda's husband William is also joining us. We are about to take a look at a set of ruins that is an old cellar of some sort, and we think we have the answer to
I hope we do this time.
what it was.
May 1st, 1875. There are many accounts in the papers, but the Columbus paper was their story was the most interesting. They said the people that they talked to afterwards said it was all day long, it was threatening and dark and gloomy. And then said late afternoon, of the tornado crossed across the Chattahoochee River, and it first hit Judge John Patillo's plantation. He'd been an inferior court judge. He was a member of New Hope Methodist Church, and said didn't hit his house, but there were a lot of tenant farms around, tenant houses, and it just leveled all of those. Said it gathered strength as it started up toward the property of Purnell Collins. He ran the Collins Ferry, and he had a cellar, and said that his family went into the cellar, but it said it just gathered strength and it crossed, and everything that as it was crossing, it just leveled everything. And said his wife, they had a daughter living with them, and his daughter and her husband lived, his other daughter and her husband lived just a little ways from them, and they went into the cellar, and said it completely destroyed their house. So if they had been in the house, they would have been gone. And then another few days later, there was a story, said there was an African-American lady that maybe she worked for them, that she was trying to get to their cellar, and a huge rock hit her in the back of the head and crushed her skull. Oh, wow. And she passed away. And there were two men, probably that told the story, that were with her. A large timber hit one of them in the arm and broke his arm in several places. And another something hit him in the front and gashed his skull. Had a huge gash in his forehead. But they survived. And said that after the storm was over, they went out and looked and said, at this time, Mr. Collins was farming wheat, and said it just leveled the wheat. You couldn't tell that there was wheat there, that just leveled, they just laid flat. But he had also planted a large crop of onions and potatoes, and said it just pulled all the onions up by the roots, and they were just laying root up, and the potatoes were just scattered all over the property. It really destroyed the around here, but also there was a mill nearby. I'm not sure where the mill was, but there was a mill nearby, and the people were working in the mill, and they did not hear the tornado. The mill was running at the time, so there were probably a lot of them in the upper floor, and it hit that mill full force and destroyed the mill and killed several people. But there were a lot of people killed that day in this community, but also in Stewart County, Talbot County, the rest of Harris County. So, because there had been 5 tornadoes had gone through. And after I thought, what would these people do? Did we have insurance? But at that time, they said in 1871, the Great Chicago Fire, at that time some insurance companies were formed to start trying to help people that their homes were destroyed by fire, but still this would not have been considered a fire, a fire that they would be insured. And also it said that a lot of the poor people couldn't afford insurance anyway. So this was really devastating. There wasn't a fund to help them, so they really had to just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. So, it was a sad story to read.
When that day of tornadoes hit here, like there's a town of Ridgeway over in Harris County, Talbot County, that it destroyed it, and that never recovered. It was more of a community. It was a community like New Hope, but it had a little square with stores and stuff. Dan might be able to tell us more about that. But it never recovered. But out here, it seems that New Hope was big enough that it did recover after the tornado and existed as a thriving community up until the boll weevil came through. And then it seems like after the boll weevil, it just faded away. Certainly by the 1930s, the town was fading when the New Hope Church was in bad shape. And then I think that church was restored in 38. And then in the 50s, it was torn down to build a barn. So it was over with after that. But this is the cellar.
Saved his family's life. A lot of other people's lives were lost.
If there was a building above this cellar, like I suppose that there was, it was possibly taken out with the tornado, and we see the debris left over from that exists to this day.
And I don't know if this was part of his house, but because they said that, you know, therefore it was completely destroyed. So whatever this was saved them, but it might not have been their home.
Do you think this is some more of that rock work done by the person that did all the work up in this area?
It looks like it.
It does.
There's an artifact layer out here. See these old bricks? Now they're plantation bricks.
Yeah.
And then we've got stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the dinner plate.
That's old. Really, really, really old.
And then there's other pieces like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting piece.
It is. It's unusual glaze.
So I think that all dates this cellar to pretty early construction.
Yeah.
A window over there, and then of course the steps going down into it. But my question was, was it originally built as a cellar, or was it, part of a different building, part of a store? The ferry crossing was right here, and like a way stop for travelers or something. I don't know,
This had finished walls inside of it. They were plastered. It's amazing what has survived, because it's very well preserved, especially over there on that side. Much of the original plaster is still on the wall over there. There's a little bit right here. You see, you've got this bottom coat, and then this is the finish coat, and it went all the way up to, I guess, was the floor joists up here above us. Steps are intact here. Did you see this? There's the top step right there. Is that the corner, or is that?
I think it was maybe partly filled in.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if it might have gotten filled in somehow.
It would have originally come out to here, because we don't see a wall right there. That's just dirt. Let me see if there's any other. There's some rock there and there, but I guess I really just got to jump into the overgrowth here and see. So, we've got rock.
Yeah, there's rock foundation all the way out to here. This, if it was a long store, this could have been the front of it.
Yeah.
And that cellar could have been in the back. See those rocks over there to your left?
Yeah, I just noticed that. Always with the briars.
That is a really big black walnut tree right in front of you. Are you tangled up?
Yep. Got a hold to me.
You don't want that to get on your side of your face.
Just as you said.
Look out.
Here, let me just get out of here. I'm stuck, man. All right. Yeah, so these are the other rocks that Dan was just talking about over on the left side. And it does almost look like there's a little rock wall or section of foundation that runs all the way down to here.
Well, that's obviously a much later, probably 1930s, 1940s maybe. Very nice barn for whoever farmed back in here last.
So right now we're trying to find the actual old road that ran down to the ferry crossing on the river.
It ought to be a very deep cut somewhere down here. I don't know. What's that over there on that hillside? You see it? It may be nothing. It may be part of an old terrace or something, but it looks like a road went around that hillside right over there. A road that came down through here that old, it would either be on the side of this hill, this hill, or it would be very deep cut into it.
According to the map, we're right on top of it. So it should be either over there.
It could have been that bottom.
I think it was, because that's going to be the closest thing that actually goes to the river, and all the erosion is just caused that ditch in the middle.
Is it my eyes, or right up in there, is there something coming down that hill?
Well, look at this map, Dan, which would put that road right there. And it shows it pretty much going straight from where we are.
Where was this building?
That's the store, or that's the cellar.
The cellar.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ferry would have been down here.
Yeah, ferry would have been down
Let's
here.
go see that. Have you been down there?
I haven't. This is first for me. The river has significantly changed here because it's been dammed for a hydroelectric plant. So the river's going to be higher today than it was back then, higher and wider. This was it right here. It's just backwashed in.
All right, don't get into quicksand. Look at the mussel shells.
Oh, come on. This is the quicksand
Yeah,
we were warned about.
that whole area is moving under your feet. What is that?
Going down right now. I'm sinking. And that's just, I don't know if I can get out. There, I don't want to lose my boot. There we go. Ugh. Clean off the old boots. The mighty, muddy Chattahoochee.
I'm sure this area has changed amidst all the floods we have had over the years. The river banks have changed. Well, they could have had a barge that came up in here and loaded everything on that and crossed on a barge.
All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this further exploration into the ghost town community of New Hope. I want to give a big thank you to Mrs. Linda for doing some additional research on the Collins family and helping figure out what that cellar was and providing the history of it. And she is really what got me started back on New Hope. I'd seen this area a long time ago and thought, oh, that's cool. And then we did the cemetery, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked now. I can't stop. And of course, thank you to Mr. Dan for coming out and joining us on this, seeing the New Hope cellar. I'm going to call it that. Thank you to Mr. William and Briley as well for joining us. We all had fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you next time on another adventure into history, probably in New Hope.